Good evening, I am Coach Esplancer, and I'm here with Assistant Coach Theo, and we are bringing you our team builder for Week 3 as we face off against the Dallas Manectrics in a sister rivalry that this battle will be for the control of the American Airlines Center, the team where both of our sponsorship teams play, the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks. So let's get into what we have from Lucky Lads Dallas Manectrics. We have Mega Charizard Y, Excadrill and Tyranitar, Klefki and Milotic, Azelf and Porygon 2, Venomoth and Primeape, Druddigon and Victory Bell. Now this is a team that's got Sun, which can sweep with Victory Bell, and Mega Charizard Y is the staples. We have Sand, where Tyranitar and Excadrill form the staple of that. And then we have several Mons that can fill many roles. His defensive walls are Porygon 2 and Milotic. He's got setup sweepers in Venomoth. He's got a Prankster Klefki, which I'm very well aware of what that thing can do because I've used it myself on several occasions. He's got Azelf, which is good all around, and he's got a very scary if used correctly Primeape. It's also pretty frail. So looking at his team, he is actually very weak on the defensive side of things, physically defensively weak. So if I bring all my heavy hitting, physically offensive Pokemon, I should be able to put a pretty good dent. Now he can run his balls physically defensive and they can perform very well, but I need to be able to get around that. Specifically his walls Porygon 2, I can hit it very hard with Hariyama. And I'm hoping that I can catch it. I'm actually most worried about Porygon 2. I expect him to bring that. I think he's more likely going to bring the Sun because the Sun, I think, does better against my team than the Sand. But we could see either, and I have to be prepared for either. But let's go into what I'm bringing. So first, we are going to bring our offensive, physically offensive Kingdra with Outrage, Waterfall, Substitute, and Dragon Dance. Now, if I get a Dragon Dance set up, then I can actually 2-hit KO his Klefki and his Porygon 2 with Waterfall, and I can 2-hit KO his Milotic with Outrage, and this thing can break down those walls. That's really what this thing's for. Now, if it gets to the point where I have his walls down and I can sweep late game, it can also do that. It's got fantastic coverage. Waterfall, even in the Sun, will hit Mega Charizard Y for quite a lot of damage because Megazord Y does not have very good defense. The only thing that I've got to watch out for, really, is Porygon 2. Porygon 2 can just sit there and recover up outrages for days, unless I get a substantial number of Dragon Dances set up. But that's what I got Substitute for. Substitute's going to help me ease that, and with leftovers, maybe I can get some recovery back, and I can come in, set up a Substitute or set up a Dragon Dance, hit some things very hard, then get out and try again later. But Kingdra here, Bojack is going to form the first part of the offensive core. Next up, we have our Super Luck Togekiss. This thing is running maximum special attack with modest nature. Also almost maximum HP to make it a bulky offensive Super Luck Scope Lens set. This thing's got Flamethrower, Aura Sphere, Dazzling Gleam, and Tailwind. And with Super Luck in the Scope Lens, that means I have a 50% chance of landing critical hits. That is what I'm going for. So Aura Sphere, critical hit, no matter what kind of set Tyranitar is, that thing's going down. Not a whole lot wants to take, for example, Excadrill doesn't want to take Aura Sphere or Flamethrower. 50% chance of critical hit, likely going down. Victory Bell, Flamethrower, going down. Dazzling Gleam for Druddigon. We got Flamethrower for Venomoth. Now Azelf could pose a problem, but Dazzling Gleam, 50% chance, so maybe I'll take that thing out too. Aura Sphere, even against the Porygon 2, if that's a physically defensive Porygon 2, as I expect it will be, if I get a 50% chance of critical hit, then I could possibly 2-hit KO it. Especially if we get into a recover war, which I'm thinking is going to happen. But that is the idea here. This thing's going to come in and it's going to try to stop, especially that Klefki. If I get paralyzed, that's fine, as long as I get that Klefki out of here, because that thing is going to be a problem for my Dragon Dance Kingdra, in all fairness. going into number 3, as my little man has dropped his pacifier. So we need to get assistant coach Theo's not pacifier, his substitute. He's got to have his substitute. Oh, don't rub it again. There's his substitute. He's got his substitute. So we have our scope lens Hariyama with thick fat, of course, to take less damage from the fire type attack that I expected it will take. But honestly, this thing is so bulky with its 144 base HP stat that it can take a hit from anything offensive that he's got. But we are running the high critical hit moves of Cross Chop and Stone Edge. Cross Chop, if I get a critical hit, which I will have a 50% chance of doing again because of scope lens and it being a high critical hit move, then I could possibly take out that Porygon 2 after a little bit of chip damage just from the critical hit. If my Logic comes in, then that thing will take like 80% damage from a critical hit. That's what I'm going here for. And the scope lens will hide my items, so I can bluff a Choice Scarf with this thing. And the only thing is, Cross Chop and Stone Edge are 80% hitting moves, and our first 2 battles I haven't had the best luck with moves that have a chance of missing. I missed that Rock Slide in week 1, I missed an Air Slash, even though that one didn't matter, in week 2. So hopefully I don't miss, that's a possibility. But if I can get that critical hit, which I'll have a 50% chance of doing, then that could be big for me. And that's what I'm going for. I am going for the hacks. 50% chance is pretty good. So let's see if hacks will be in our favor for this battle. But now let's go into what we have next. Is Scolipede Slytherin. This thing is here to try to pass a Lancet Berry with speed into something that's got high critical hit. That way I can be at 100% critical hit on that. Even if I go into Kingdra, I don't have the scope lens on it, but I'll have 50% chance on Kingdra, which if Dragon Dance is set up, that's downright scary, especially with that sniper ability that it's got. We are running it with Mega Horn because it's our hardest hitting stab. It does a lot of damage, even against resisted attacks. We got Rock Slide, just for that Mega Charizard Y. Mega Horn also hits Azelf. It knocks it out, it knocks out Victory Bell, it knocks out Primeape even, that's pretty crazy. Man, it could possibly 2-shot Porygon 2 if it's specially defensive. Or even Milotic if it's specially defensive. But we're going to try to pass the sub. We can sub down to a Lancet Berry, Baton Pass it to something that's going to hit with critical hits and possibly sweep. Yeah, that's the plan here. Max attack, we got enough speed here to speed creep his base 100s, Jolly Nature, and the rest is peppered in HP to have doing the even number or the odd number. Even though I know that'll get me down to 1 HP, I kind of expect to be taking spikes damage from Klefki, to be honest. So that's alright. Besides, pretty much everything does 25% of this thing, so I'm not really worried about that. But let's go into our next one. And we got the Zoroark with the knockoff, low kick, hidden power rock, and fleeing with the light ball. Now this thing right here is going to hide behind something that could force Excadrill in, like the Togekiss. Now we're going to fling a light ball at it, which is going to paralyze that Excadrill, making its Sand Rush completely worthless, if that's what he brings. But honestly, it'll paralyze anything that wants to come in. And I'd be happy with that. Anything that wants to get paralyzed, except for Milotic, because I don't really want to do the Marvel scale. But, you know, Milotic doesn't really want to be paraflinched by Togekiss either, so I'm thinking he's going to want to switch into something more offensive. And I want to try to get that and fling my light ball to paralyze it. We got low kick, which will OHKO the Tyranitar. Hidden power rock will OHKO, Mega Charizard Y. We got knockoff to knock off the rest of their items. This thing is more utility, but it's also offensive. You know, as you can tell, it's a very hyper offensive team. Not going very high on the defense, but I do have to have a little bit of defense. So that brings me to our last Pokemon, and that is Mew, who is running Barrier, so that I can try to boost my physical defense up. Because this is a specially defensive move, so I want to boost my defense as well. We have Thunder Wave to paralyze things, we got Stealth Rocks to set up hazards, and we got Drain Punch. Because if I can set up a barrier, I can just Drain Punch things and get my health back. We're also running Leftovers for that. But I think that Mew here is going to get that necessary chip damage I need for the rest of my offense, which is really the rest of my team, to put in some work. But that battle is coming up this weekend, so make sure you leave any comments down below. Like if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to see more from me. I do these battles. Say hello to Assistant Coach Theo. He is absolutely wonderful. And make sure you also check out my opponent, Lucky Lad TV. His link will be down in the description below. I am Coach Esplancer. This is Assistant Coach Theo, and we will see you for some Sunday Night Pokemon.